G'day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Sennarth, or Sennarth, I think it's Sennarth. And he is the 5th boss in the Vault of the Incarnates. So he is a pretty interesting boss. There's a couple things that you need to be aware of as a tank mainly, but there's also a couple things you do need to be aware of as a DPS. So first things first, before the fight even starts, let's just rewind a little bit. You're going to notice that there's a pack of ads behind this raid counter. Let me just see if I can get a better... Yeah, I think that's really it. Yeah, I think there we go. You'll see there's a pack of ads here behind this raid counter. It's very important that the two tanks split straight away. One tank takes the boss, the other tank takes this pack of ads. That tank wants to pull this pack of ads directly in front of the boss so that you can nuke them down as quickly as possible. So that's something I will just preface straight away. So you can see here I'm tanking the boss, and the other tank is doing a good job in bringing him the ads directly in front of the boss, and I'm just kind of standing a little bit to the side. Now the boss does not have a cone. The boss does not have a cone-based ability, so you don't need to be too concerned about standing to the side, but it is something to be aware of. As you can see, I'm building up stacks of Web Blast. The boss will periodically hit you with Web Blast quite often, so tanks want to switch on roughly 6 to 7 stacks. It's quite a frequent ability. Beyond that, there are a couple of things that you do want to be aware of. So, firstly, this move, Gossamer Burst, the boss is going to shoot threads towards a lot of players. Now, what you can do is you can, if you have an escape ability, jump to the back of the field, or alternatively, you can stand or stand behind these patches of web that other players will leave behind. If you stand or stand in those patches of web, it will prevent you being pulled away. Players who are targeted with the ability to generate the webs, which is this ability here, developing webs, enveloping webs. These are going to be fired at players. You'll be targeted with it. Try and aim them so they're at the back of the arena so that players have access to them, or that they are at least in a easily accessible section. As you fight the boss, he is going to move up this staircase. Chilling Blast, you just want to make sure that you keep separate from all of the other players, and that's really about it for Chilling Blast. And then you're going to keep your eye on Gossamer Burst. He's going to do Gossamer Burst, and again, we're going to want to make sure that we run to the back of the arena. As you can see, you want to also try and avoid ice paths, and placing ice paths here as players will be accelerated to fall off the platform. So now as you move across, you want to continue to tank him all the way up to the next section of platform. Then the phases will repeat themselves. Once you get to the top of the platform, generally speaking, he will spawn another ad, and he'll spawn a giant spider. So tanks want to switch here. I have too many stacks, by the way, of Web Blast, so tanks do want to switch. These caustic spiderlings are a DPS problem. They need to focus on the caustic spiderlings. However, the second tank needs to focus on this frost breath arachnid. Now, there's two important things when you are facing the frost breath arachnid. Firstly, keep him away from ice. Don't let him form on the ice. It will accelerate him. He'll start doing AoE raid-wide damage. And the second point that you want to focus on is this freezing beam. This freezing beam will damage all allies in a cone behind you. So you want to keep it away from the raid, but also it creates frost path. So if you look here, it creates even more frost paths. So my aiming here was not great. You want to generally aim it out towards the boss, towards these edges where players are not going to be. So that was not great on my part. You also want to move the spider off of the ice, which you can see me trying to do here, but we've cut our gap quite a lot with poor placement of ice. So this is not great performance here, but it's okay. Now, once you've done that, you are going to slowly move back along the platform. Again, it's very much a rinse and repeat cycle. It can get messy, which is why this fight causes a lot of problems. players can struggle a little bit with like how messy the fight can get. Lots of ice, lots of webs. Basically, if you're targeted with enveloping webs, place them here. This placement here is perfect. This will help players from being pulled off the edge. So enveloping webs here is very, very solid. And then the spiderlings you want to kill as quickly as possible. Chilling blast, move away from each other. And the big edge you basically want to keep away from each other. The ice you need to prevent from spawning, and these processes will repeat basically continuously. So these steps will repeat quite a few times. As you can see, we get to another platform. As we get here, we pull the Frost Breath Arachnid, or the other tank does, because obviously he doesn't have the stacks. And again, you want to kill the spider as quickly as possible while you tank the boss here. So you can see that process occurring again. Very, very good. All fairly easy. I died here because I got, let's just say, well, why don't you watch what happens, basically. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So you can see there, insta one shot, not entirely certain why. Must have been Frost Breath. But yeah, basically, a little bit of a kind of issue there. And then I got a res, and I managed to make my way back up to the top. So yeah, now the top of the platform. So the spider continues to make its way up, as you can see. Now the top of the platform, things change a little bit. So the spider will no longer summon ads, which is obviously a benefit, but now it becomes quite a big DPS check. So there's a couple of things to be aware of here. So the first one is obviously the fact that the spider's now here. He does do a little bit of AoE damage, so you want to be able to make sure that he's facing at least away from nearby party members. But the big thing is actually the spikes and the ice that he generates on the floor. So he does Chilling Blast. Chilling Blast, we want to move away from each other, but the floor is slippery, so you need to be very careful about your placement. You want to move away, and when that does happen, he's going to actually not place. It's not going to be a once-off. He's going to place these little ice markers. Now, ideally, you want to place them along the edges, because he's then going to do a move that will repel you backwards, called Repelling Burst. Now, if you've placed all of these in the middle or directly behind players, you're actually going to all get knocked into some pretty significant damage. Whereas if you place them to the sides and all stack in the middle, you won't take a large portion of damage. Beyond that, that's pretty much it. This final phase is nothing too crazy. You generally just keep the same kind of tactics, keep your blasts away from each other, and prevent the same situation from happening. He will cast a move called Suffocating Web. You want to keep swapping these stacks as a tank, and that's it. That's basically the process. So hopefully it helps you guys. It can be a very messy fight. There's a lot that does go on. So try your best, and yeah, let me know how it goes. But I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and bye.